What's going on, guys? J Flesh Tanks. You're about to see a major rescape in process and how I do it. Before I get into that, I want to give a big thank you to Jay Corns and Oscar Lover 131. Jay Corns ran a contest, and it was a cool concept, real cool concept. It was do a video on another YouTuber. Oscar Lover 131 chose me as the YouTuber he wanted to talk about, and he actually won me some cash. Jay Corns, you're a man of your word. PayPal money was in the PayPal account. I just haven't spent it yet, and you know it'll be going towards something fishy. So big thanks to Jay Corns. I'll link both him and Oscar Lover 131 in the description. I just haven't got around to it. So much stuff's going on. But on to this video. As you can see, I'm just siphoning out the pearl weed. There's a big, I took out all this manzanita wood, if you guys remember, that had, moss and ricky and stuff. And I didn't change any of my practices. I just kept going with the same dosing and lighting schedule. And it caused a huge, huge mess of algae in this tank. So the pearl weed was probably salvageable, but I got plenty of it. I'm just taking it out. Sometimes you just got to cut your losses. And there was the thing that actually put me to the limit of actually wanting to rescape is Jean Rosa on YouTube. She's another YouTuber, guys. Check her out. She was getting down on the hobby. She's having some issues with her plants, and I left a comment on her channel. I said, hey, sometimes, the best thing is a fresh start, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So, Jean, don't get down. Sometimes, starting over is the best thing you can do. Learn from your mistakes. Now, right here, this is the commitment part, guys. If you're going to do a rescape, as soon as you start ripping out heavily rooted plants, you've committed to doing something. You either got to go for it or, just stop where you're at right now. As soon as I tore out this Ammonia gracilis, it was like, okay, I've just committed to a couple hours worth of work. There's some plants in this tank down right in front of where I'm standing in the foreground is some Pinnatifida. That is a cool plant, really cool plant. I just decided to not use that. And you'll see that I've decided not to use that in this particular scape. I went with a foreground plant that I haven't used here in quite a while, but I have a ton of. Here you see the beginning stages of my kid's big head, beginning stages of the hardscape. My boy helps me out a ton. You guys have seen him. My youngest helps me the most out of all my kids when it comes to aquascape, and he's interested of his biggest thing is catching the fish in the net right now. Here's the foreground plant, guys. That's dwarf sage. I haven't used dwarf sage in one of my upstairs tanks in a while, and I have as you can see, a whole boatload of it. So that's what I'm using as the foreground plant. Here I'm planting it. What I've found, guys, is when you take dwarf sage out of an existing tank, obviously you're gonna have a ton of runners. And what I've found the best thing to do is, you'll see me, I just clump them together. I don't separate the runners. I feel like if you separate the runners and plant it in a totally different conditions, you get a way more melting dieback than you would. If you could separate the runners from the tank that it's in and cut them back and replant them, same water conditions, This is going to be different water parameters. So what I've noticed is if you keep them all in the clump, keep all the runners together and just put them in clumps, you get way less dieback. Obviously, right there I'm trimming up the roots. I want to promote root growth. It's always good. You guys know, a lot of people have talked about it, trimming the roots back. There I just dropped a rock, got me nervous there a little bit, so I end up taking it out. But yeah, keep the roots keep all the runners together, guys, if you can. Prune the roots back some and plant them in clumps. And for me, you get way less melting or dieback when it comes to dwarf sage or Italian val, things like that. Here, starting the I got some stem plants in. Obviously, you got to fill the tank up to get stem plants, and doing it fairly quickly so it's not taking up a bunch of your guys' time. Check the water as you go. See, that's what I just did right there. Check to make sure that the water hasn't changed, dramatically from 75, 80 to 90 degrees all of a sudden. I try to kick up debris so it floats to the surface. So when I go in and I net everything out, it's not a mess there. I'm fluffing everything up because it was all matted down, especially stem plants. You don't want stem plants all tangled up and messy looking. So you got to go in there as you fill the tank and separate all those stem plants so it's not a tangled up mess. Turn off the water, and then I'll show you a little bit of the finished process. Right there's the finished process, finished tank. Right side has Lewigia, Watalawa lychee, and Cypress hellfly. Foreground is dwarf sage. Left side of the tank has willow hygro and Amani gracilis. It came out fairly good, guys. I really like it. But that's the video. J Flesh Tanks, Mr. Mom Tanks, firedupaquatics.net, and we'll see you guys later.